What is the worst case of psycho-overprotective parenting that you've ever seen? Hi Reddit guys, subscribe now, or I will get sick. I went to high school with a guy whose parents had a camera installed in his room that fed into a TV screen in their bedroom. When he told me, I assumed it was one of those things they used when he was a baby then disabled when he was older. Nope. According to him they still kept it on 24/7 even though he was like 17 years old. I'd never been so creeped out. My aunt won't let her kids open their own soda cans because she thinks they'll cut their fingers off. Which was fine when they were young, but they're 15 and 18 now. How are they going to open beers? Maybe that was her plan all along. She was playing the long con. The long con to steer them to hard liquor and drugs. A girl I know didn't get the talk from her parents until she was 18 or 19. Her mum had decided that if she didn't know what X was she would keep her virginity forever or something. Now Sally, this is what people do when they really love each other. Oh, Billy and I do that all the time. Girl at school wasn't allowed any sugar, no sweets, not even fruit. It was weird. I invited her to a party at mine and her parents came round before the party to check our house was safe. They asked if our gate locked to keep people out. It wasn't fair on her though. Every birthday or party she'd eat tons of junk food and feel ill, and she used to crawl around the classroom pretending she was a cat. I think they broke her. My wife's mother. Too many acts of lunacy to mention. But the one that sticks out was when we went to their house for a family barbecue. We were in our mid-20s. Mum decides to start a fight over my presents, as I wasn't family and thus should not be attending. Wife says if he's not welcome, we're leaving. Mum says, no you're not. You're grounded. Wife just gives her this tilt your head sideways look and says, we're going back to our house. I know someone who just moved into her college dorm a couple weeks ago. This girl has never had a house key as her mum wouldn't allow it. If she wanted in the house mum better be there. Her parents also have all of her social media passwords and her mum openly states she used to go read the chat conversations. Not as bad as others. However the girl has already been home one weekend and is set to come back in a few weeks. We're all wondering how she'll rebel once she's under the college experience. This girl's brother, who is in middle school, maybe just started high school is worse. He is so coddled that he freaked out when he was left in a waiting room at a doctor's office alone while his uncle went back for his appointment. The kid could not be left alone. For the record neither kid is special needs. My first roommate in college was extremely coddled by his mother, or at least I thought so. His home was about an hour away from campus and she came up every day to get his laundry and make his bed, clean his side of the room. They were both neat freaks, and I wasn't a slob by any means, but I wasn't quite as neat as either them would have liked. What ended up happening is I would come back from class and find her making my bed, organizing my desk and picking up my dirty clothes. Didn't really appreciate that, but I didn't want to make waves so I just kept my mouth shut. Finally it got really weird when I came back to the room after a class had gotten cancelled and they were both in the same twin bed. He was sleeping and she was stroking his hair/face and singing him a lullaby. My first boyfriend in high school practically lived at our house because my mother refused to let me go to his. He was over every day after school and most weekends. Finally I convinced her to let me drive myself to his house. At this point, I had met his dad twice and his dad thought he did something to offend me, scare me off, because I never came to visit them. I really wanted to go hang out with him and his dad. So I drove myself to his house, with the condition that I call my mother immediately upon arrival from their phone. Google Maps said it should take 8 minutes to get there. 8 minutes and 45 seconds later, I get an enraged phone call from my mom. I was just walking in the door, and I hadn't called her yet. She made me immediately return home and grounded me from my cell phone for a month. What the hell? I had an ex-boyfriend from high school whose parents were very strict about him dating. So we always had group dates. We weren't allowed to be alone. We went over to his house for a movie night and everyone all of a sudden left, but it was super late and my dad's place was across town. So I called for him to pick me up, but it was going to take 45 minutes to get there. His parents made me wait outside on the porch alone in November, in Canada. It was cold. He wasn't allowed to wait outside with me. They didn't even let me wait in the foyer with them supervising. Now that is just cruel. I work security at a college, so I've seen my fair share. This wasn't so much overprotective as it was babying. I once had a mother call our office. The exchange went as follows. Mother, hello, can you please go tell my son's professor that he won't be in class today? He doesn't feel well. Me, where is your son? Mother, oh, he's there, on campus, in the dorms. Me, ma'am, I don't know who your son's professor is, and even if I did, it's his responsibility to get in touch with them, not mine or yours. Mother, oh, I know, but he called me and asked me to call him out of class. Me, he's in college now. He's 18. He can do this on his own. He doesn't even need to call. He can email his professor. Huh? Laughing, you're so right. I had a friend growing up whose mum refused to send out a Christmas card with her and her brother's photos on it. The mum was convinced at the end of the season, once people threw away the cards, the garbage man or anyone rifling through the trash would see her amazing beautiful children, find the address on the discarded envelope and come kidnap the kids from their home. She did many other bizarre things, but that one always stuck out to me. I freaking hate when parents do this. It's extremely overprotective and kids need be exposed to the world. Besides, I tend to return the kids when I'm done with them. Garbage man. Good guy garbage man still recycles. On my friend's 13th birthday, his big brother was taking us paintballing. We said bye to his mom. She was, in full disclosure, a severe paranoid schizophrenic who liked to go off her meds. Anywho, we left the house and headed to paintball. At a random gas station a good half hour away we stopped for snacks. When the older brother goes inside, the mum pulls up to a screeching halt next to us, rolls down the window and starts yelling at us to make sure the older brother spends all the money on paintball, rocking the crazy eyes the whole time. She leaves by rolling around to the back of the gas station and idling there. When the older brother got back, we told him what was going on. He told us to buckle up. Sure enough, we pulled out of the gas station and she starts to try tailing us. I say try, because next thing I know we're on the freeway doing at least 100 dodging from lane to lane till we found a quick off ramp that took us under a bridge where we hid for a few minutes to make sure we had lost her. The older brother refused to let her ruin my friend's 13th birthday. He was a good dude. My ex's mum screamed in my face, legit inches from my face, that I was stealing her son away when he bought his house. It was his decision to buy a house and he had wanted me to live with him. The location of the house, you ask? Directly across the street from where his parents live. My former roommate's parents were extremely protective of my roommate. Once I woke up to 3 calls and 4 texts from her mum asking if my roommate was in the room. I replied back yes. Later that day my roommate explained to me that there was a girl murdered in North Carolina that fit her description and her parents wanted to make sure she was alive. We go to school over 400 miles away from NC. I once dated a girl with absolutely insane parents. Throughout middle and high school, they refused to let her go out to anything but school and choir trips. She had to argue and bargain with them for months just to be able to go to senior prom. They wouldn't let her go to junior prom. They also refused to let her get a driver's license or a car, to limit her mobility. Even to this day they refuse to let her go out. She, a 20-year-old woman, has to get permission from her super restrictive mum and dad to go out for coffee at the cafe downstairs. The worst part of all of this is that she can't move out, as they have hold of her passport, and where she leaves, it's more or less impossible to get anything done without it. One time, when I was about 6, I was playing on a playground. Anyway, I went down this tube slide thing. It was totally covered, and this little girl walked in front of it. Well, surprise surprise, I hit her. Her mother got super mad at me and told me that I should pay more attention in the future. I was on a slide. I was tearing a general chemistry lab in college and a parent emailed me after the first lab report with an annotated copy of the graded assignment, which I gave a B+. Little Johnny had never gotten a B in a class before, and I was just being unfair since it was his first semester in college. Long story short, she threatened to go to the prof. I said go ahead, and they did. The professor was awesome. When kids itch about their grades, he offers them a regrade and then goes over the report with a fine-toothed comb. The B+ got changed, to a C. I'm a middle school teacher, so I'm used to parents calling me and wanting grades changed. Several years ago, I took a year off from working and went back to school. On the first day of the first semester, my calculus professor told the students that if she heard from any of their parents, she wasn't going to be happy. I saw a few of the kids in that class get visibly uncomfortable and heard a few of them itching about how they were going to drop the class after class was over. So, after the next class, I asked her if that really was a thing that parents did. She told me that my generation was raised by helicopter parents and that most of us couldn't fight our own battles. After I explained to her that I was in fact 28 years old and a middle school teacher in my real life, we had a nice laugh about kids today. Okay Reddit guys, subscribe now, or I will get sick.